The Top Spot is brought to you by Aussie Traveller.
Now, if you're looking for the perfect location for a relaxing afternoon stroll in a tropical paradise, then you've got to come and see Rockhampton's Botanic Gardens. They're regarded as one of the best in regional Australia, and I caught up with the Visitor Services Officer here at the Gardens to find out what makes them so special.
When you hear that one of the best botanic gardens you're ever going to see throughout Australasia, and one of the biggest for that matter, is right here in Rockhampton, when I'm visiting, I can't afford not to appreciate just the serenity and the beauty of this whole place. We were fortunate enough to get hold of Mark Raybine. Mark is the VSO of the RBG, which is the Visitor Services Officer of the Rockhampton Botanic Gardens. And he takes free tours here at the Gardens, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. in the afternoon. He's a very knowledgeable man. G'day, Mark. How are you?
G'day, Mark. I'm very, very well.
Beautiful garden. Some 96 acres?
96 acres, yes, that's right. If you want to be up speed, 40 hectares in the new style.
Okay, but it wasn't always like this, I believe.
Oh no. Before it was a tract of land selected from three other tracts around Rockhampton, and this particular tract was selected because it had by far the best soil. As you say, it wasn't always this way. It was prior to becoming or developing the Botanic Gardens, it was a cattle and goat grazing area. And if you know anything about goats, they love to eat vegetation.
Well, perhaps this is why also the soil was so good, huh?
That's exactly right.
So what do we grow here?
We grow exotic species, mainly exotic species with a splash of all Australian native species.
To remember days gone by, you can see the cenotaph that honours the people who fought in the Vietnam War and World Wars I and II.
I mean, every Anzac Day you have 3,000 to 4,000 here for the service.
That's right. That's at dawn. Where do
they fit?
They fit on the lawns and around the cenotaph on the pathway.
Okay.
But it's quite an amazing sight because you see all the little twilights coming through the trees of a night time early in the morning.
Yes.
And of course, you know, there's families in prams. They bring their prams. The younger people come as well, just to commemorate and remember the fallen soldiers of all our world wars.
Well, look, you know, this is the sort of place I could spend all day, but I don't have all day. The thing is, what would you like to do next? Japanese gardens?
Japanese gardens, that sounds great to me.
All right, you got it.
Beauty.
Mark, from what I've read about Japanese gardens, and it's not all about bonsai trees either.
No, exactly not. No, that's quite true.
But
Mark.
the four elements are applicable to Japanese garden: fire, earth, water, air.
That's right.
And the thing that amazes me, though, is not necessarily the plants are Japanese.
No, in this particular Japanese gardens here in Rockhampton, because of the hot weather that we experience during our summers, a lot of the Japanese plants and the Asian plants didn't survive when the Japanese landscape gardens brought them here. It just gets too hot
When you're up there at 35 degrees.
Oh, exactly, and we had to replace a lot that did die very, very quickly.
Right.
And that's illustrated by a lot of the plants. You know, you can actually see, particularly the large hoop pine over here, which form a wonderful backdrop.
It's gorgeous, and the waterfall.
And the waterfall. The cycads actually underneath are an Australian plant as well.
And to complete the tour of the gardens, you've got to go check out the lagoon, which is home to a wide variety of wild water birds, including spoonbills and occasionally pelicans.
This was the very first water supply for the Rockhampton city. And with regards to the Botanic Gardens, very important for the Botanic Gardens because this is where the first curator of the gardens, Mr. James Scott Edgar, brought his wooden pails down and to obtain water for his freshly grown plants.
and it is an absolute haven for bird life.
Oh, it's since 1901. It's been a bird. It was actually gazetted to be a bird sanctuary. Therefore, it's fully protected. The area is fully protected.
The gardens are open to wander at your own pace every day, or if you're looking for something more informative, call in and book a free guided tour with the friendly visitor services team. Time to check in with Graham again at the Caravan Camping, Holiday and Touring Show.
We'll heat them in the hot pan and they can go into the oven bag as well. Now, we're not going to cook the broccoli in here for the whole day, are we?
Good day, Barry, and good day, Mara. Now, I believe that you actually don't need electricity for this pot, so just tell us about the Dream Pot.
Graham, the Dream Pot has a lovely name because many, many moons ago, when our children were young, Mara and I, we've always loved camping. And one of the hassles that we used to have on our annual camping trips was what we used to take, all our cooking, all the pots and pans, and practically the kitchen sink. In those days too, my wife and I, we've been involved in our business since 1960-odd, and on one of our overseas trips, we did buy this little insulated pot. It was just a pot that kept things hot or cold, and we brought it back home to Rockhampton, and over the next few years, we loved it so much, I used to call it my little dream pot. It was just only a fraction of what you see now, the way the name has evolved.
So what I've had to do is to learn and experiment on now how can we use this product that uses no power in our camping and travelling trips. So right from day one, from scratch, I started experimenting. So we've done all this experimenting over the years now to come up with cooking, breakfast, lunches, dinners, morning and afternoon teas, even the supper at night when you're playing cards, and it uses no power.
So you invented it, designed it in Australia, and
We've developed this product.
It is our baby, Graham. And we saw the niche. We saw there was a big need in the marketplace for people travelling, camping, fishing and boating, because cooking really was an absolute chore. But with the way that we've developed the Dream Pot now, it is such a wonderful, really wonderful appliance that when we are travelling and people are cooking while they're travelling, after a long day on the road, there's nothing to cook. And it's absolutely magnificent where you can use it, what it'll save you. Now, when we started many years ago, we used to cook, really push one of the virtues was it was very energy efficient. In those days, it didn't mean much. But today, with our changing environment, with everything going green, the Dream Pot is truly one of the best cooking machines.
Okay, thanks very much, Barry. Thanks very much, Marin. And you've got a wonderful product here with the Dream Pot, and we'll see you again.
Something you've really got to check out. In the heart of Rockhampton is the famous Archer Park Rail Museum. Now, back in the old days, of course, there were steam trains. But there's also steam trams, and that's what I'm on right now. But the station itself represents so much history. This was a place where Australian diggers were going off to war in World War II and for deployment from Cairns and Townsville, and would leave here with their loved ones in tears, saying goodbye to them. And right now we're about to meet team leader Dennis. Mate, it's amazing. The statues there are so lifelike.
They are.
And you can go back in time here.
Yes. You can step back into the 1930s, and that's what the statues represent here. They were made in Brisbane by Brandy at Geebung, and they play a wonderful part in the bringing back the life of a railway station of that era, of the 1930s.
That's of its time.
Of its time.
And this has been restored lovingly.
Yes, took 4.5 years to restore back to what you see here today.
How poignant is this scene? We go back, we're talking 1943 and after deployment. Just natural with his darling, naturally with the tears, heading off for deployment, not knowing whether he's going to come home or not. Yes, there were many men. Thanks for what you did for us, Digger. So here we are, Dennis, sitting at the station, waiting for the train to come in. Steam.
Steam, yes. What an era.
What an era.
Yeah.
And this is relatively new.
This one is relatively new. It's about 2 weeks old and QR let us have this one on display, and it was originally at Movie World, of course, under a special theme, and then they released it, and it went back to QR at Ipswich, which was then earmarked to come to Archer Park. So it's great to have. It's a C17 class, and its number is 988.
You've got to have numbers, right?
You've got to have numbers. If you're a railway buff or steam buff, you've got to know the number of your engine.
Make sure you make a point of stopping at the museum, and while you're there, meet the volunteers for a complimentary tea, coffee and biscuits.
After the break, I'm off to discover just how my beef gets from the paddock to my plate.
And I'm going to have the hard task of seeing what's the best way to cook it and eat it.